have thought it was money, first buck, but it wasn't. I'm going to tell you a true story about the first time I actually saw a real live buck in the woods. A good friend of mine, Jeff Reagan, up in Americus, Georgia, in December of 2000, said, "Fred, I just shot the biggest buck yesterday. You need to come. They're all over the place." I said, "Okay, great." And I had just started hunting. I didn't really know much about it, but I enjoyed it. It's freezing. And my buddy Jeff runs a plantation down in South Georgia, so he guides a lot of people. And so I said, "Okay, I'll go." Well, Jeff is 6'3", and he weighs about 250 pounds. We're going to sit in the deer stand together. It's a tripod deer stand, and it has metal legs. It's about 15 feet in the air. Has a small platform with a chair right smack in the middle. I said, "Where are you going to sit?" He says, "Oh, I brought this 5-gallon bucket. I'll just put it down here in the back corner, and I'll just sit here, and I'll be able to see just fine." Well, wasn't that entertaining? He's sitting there, all squished up. Now, there's rails, but at any minute he could fall right off the back or the side, and he'd be 15 feet down on the ground. So we're sitting there, and it's freezing cold, and the sun's coming up. A lot of frost on the ground. And after about 30, 45 minutes, some deer start moving around. Well, here comes a buck. I was very excited. I'd never seen a buck before in real life, especially when I'm hunting. I said, "Jeff," I said, "there's one there, but it's kind of small. You think I should wait?" He said, "No." He says, "That's your first buck." He says, "You know, there may not be another one, and you may lose this opportunity." So I said, "Okay." So I let him kind of walk, hoping a bigger one would come out. Well, it looked as if we might have lost the opportunity, so I took a shot, and I did. I ended up getting that buck. So we wait for about 45 minutes to an hour. Now there's no real big mountains where we were, but there was a valley, okay? So we're on one top of the valley, and the woods and the deer come out on the other side of the valley. And so we walk down, and it's very rough terrain. There's no way you're getting a truck in there. There's no way you're getting a four-wheeler in there. You got to drag them out. So we walk down to the deer, take a look, and we're celebrating, very happy. Now, I never had taken a buck before. I had taken a doe, grab her back legs, and drag her out to where we can get to a vehicle of some sort. Well, I asked my buddy Jeff. I says, "How do we get this deer out of here? Because if we grab his back legs, then the antlers are going to be banging around, and this is my first buck, so I'm gonna mount this deer." He says, "Well, Fred, that's not how you do it with a buck. You actually grab his antlers and you drag him out." And I said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now listen, this is my first buck. I'm going to mount it. There's no way I'm dragging this deer out by its antlers." Well, he starts laughing. He says, "Fred, that's how you do it." He says, "I've been doing this a long time. It's the strongest part of their body." I said, "Jeff, I hear what you're saying, but I don't believe you. You're messing with me." He says, "No, honest, for real." He says, "You grab one horn and I'll grab the other, and we'll drag them up to the truck." I said, "I don't feel real good about this." I said, "I'm warning you, if something happens to my deer, I'm going to be very upset." He says, "Fred, don't worry. It's okay. It happens all the time. We drag them out like this, always." So I grab one antler. He grabs the other. We start dragging the deer off. And just as we get all the weight, enough to where we can get the leverage and start dragging, not my hand, his hand. The antler snapped completely off the deer. Okay, so now, I'm less than impressed. I'm actually really mad. And I don't know what Jeff was thinking. Now, he's a big guy, and I was fired up. I really wanted to whip his butt right there. Because I warned him. And I told him that this is crazy, and I didn't want anything to happen. Well, here we are. He got the antler, whole thing in his hand. He doesn't know whether to laugh, cry, try to keep a straight face. I said, "Jeff, this is not a good deal." I said, so now I got one missing antler. How are we going to drag them out now? Can't drag them out by the back legs because another antler, and if that one comes off, you're going to have big problems. He said, Fred, don't worry. He says, I'm sorry. He says, I have never in all my years and all the people I know have ever heard of this happening. Ever. I said, well, it's a first for everything. He says, don't worry, my dad's a taxidermist. He can take care of it. It's not going to be a problem. We can doctor it up and you'll still be able to mount your deer. I said, yeah, right. Okay, sure. Well, sure enough, we ended up getting the deer up in the truck. His dad drove over. The gentleman who we were using the land, old timer, we had a 600-acre farm. He come by and they were all excited. Fred got his first buck. Well, I wasn't real excited because half its antler had already been knocked off. Well, they were all proud and happy, and they cheered me on. And Jeff's dad did say, "It's not going to be a problem. We'll be able to fix this, and it'll be wonderful." And so, this is the story of